This is Try It 20-2. We're going to calculate equivalent units of production. So the cutting department has 6,500 units in process at the end of September. So what they're talking about, let's go back to our slides. Let's just look at one of these work in process inventory accounts. At the end of the accounting period, there's going to be some units that are still unfinished, and those will be represented by our ending balance. And because those units are unfinished, we have to calculate what's the equivalent number of completed units. For example, if we had 10,000 units still in process at the end of the period in this department, and let's say they were 50% finished. So that means they would have, if there's 10,000 units and they're 50% finished, that means that's the equivalent of 5,000 units being 100% finished. So that's what we're doing here now. But the key is that we have to calculate the direct materials cost separately from the conversion costs. Remember, the conversion costs are direct labor and manufacturing overhead added together. And the reason we have to calculate them separately is because the percentage completion of these two different types of costs are usually different for the units at the end of the period. So back to this homework assignment. The cutting department has 6,500 units in process at the end of September. Okay, units in process, that means they're the ending balance. And they're 100% complete for direct materials. So all the direct materials in this cutting department have already been applied to these 6,500 units. But for conversion costs, they're only 85% complete. So what we need to do is calculate the equivalent units of production for direct materials and conversion costs. So now we're on this part. Determine the formula, then enter the amounts to calculate the equivalent units of production for direct materials and conversion costs. Enter percentages as whole numbers. So the formula for doing this is we're going to take the number of units in process. So they're talking about this 6,500 units. So we can plug that in now if we wanted to. And we're going to multiply it by the percentage of completion. So what we're doing, that will give us the number of equivalent units. And this whole process will make a little bit more sense once we do the production cost report later, but we have to take this one step at a time. So let's do the production or the direct materials. The direct materials are 100% complete. So let's type in 100. It's already got the percentage sign in there. So 6,500 times 100% obviously is 6,500 units. So what that means is because all the direct materials had been applied to the 6,500 units, that's equivalent of them all being 100% done, which is the case. They're all 100% done. Now let's get to the conversion costs. The conversion costs, remember this is direct labor and manufacturing overhead, they're only 85% complete. So we type in 85 here, and then we do the math. So 6,500 times 85 gives us 5,525 equivalent units of production. So what that means is for the conversion cost, because these 6,500 units are only 85% complete, that's the equivalent of 5,525 units being 100% complete. And then later we will do this same process on the production cost report.